99% of the news out there today is AI slop, distractionary nonsense, or worse, fear-mongering based outright manipulative deception and propaganda. With no desire to empower, the modern news cycle is designed to lead the hapless citizen serf along the train tracks of servitude, with only slight permissible digressions into controlled cul-de-sacs. What news show exists for the self-liberator who strives to keep up with news relevant to liberated lifestyles, second realm culture and music, and critical PAZNIA developments? What news show exists that will provide freedom pioneers with the knowledge, education, and networking connections necessary to liberate them, while also having fun? There is only one. Join host Shane, aka Rayo2, and Shadrach as they dive into the freeing and mysterious world of liberation here on the Life and Times of PAZNIA, a monthly news show from Veritas.
Alright, I think everything is unclicked as it should be. You double check because I messed that up when we came back from break last time. There's about 5 minutes where I was silent. You could hear me, but they couldn't. So we'll double check that here. And the stream's been pretty flawless today. I'm very, very, very happy about that. So, anyway, things look solid.
Hey, how am I sounding?
Sounding good, but I guess the only thing I didn't do was Jitsi. Got to turn your volume up. Now we're good.
Okay. Good.
Yep, sounding good. But yeah, anyway, guys, this is the Life and Times of PAZNIA, a monthly news show from Veritas. I'm your host, Shane, Rayo2, joined alongside my co-host, Shadrach. I'm coming to you from the outdoor studio here at Veritas. This transmission beaming worldwide, most recently via Pirate Radio and MeshNet in the greater Peru area. To any Peruvians listening, bienvenidos mis compañeros pioneros de la libertad es un gran honor tenerlos aquí. En fin, if you're new here, and you probably are, the goal of the Life and Times of PAZNIA is to bring you the best, most entertaining, and most valuable news show on self-liberation in existence. We do this via 4 segments: self-liberation news, freedom pioneer focus, freedom music spotlight, that is to highlight the art and culture of the second realm, the VonuLife Digital Message Board, and the last segment being the longest, our second realm strategy session. We've got some news items to cover for Freedom Pioneer Focus. We'll be joined briefly by RevHodl, a cool permaculture farmer and Bitcoiner up in, I think he's in Michigan. And if he is in Michigan, I'm not sure how we've never crossed paths before, considering I thought I knew pretty much everyone in the Michigan freedom community. But I guess I'm glad I maybe don't. So I guess we'll maybe find more out about that momentarily. Then we'll dive into the VonuLife Digital Message Board, which would include your calls or live messages. The call number is PAZNIA.com/call2. Again, PAZNIA.com/call2. You can leave us a message by joining our SimpleX chat, PAZNIA.com/SimpleX. We'll take you to a directory of our various chats, including the one for the radio network, which if you have a question or message for the show, that is the one to go to, and I'll be checking that periodically throughout. Further, you can leave a message and a Monero donation by visiting xmrchat.com/PAZNIA radio. Again, that's xmrchat.com/PAZNIA radio. And if you leave a donation there, it'll come straight to Simplex. So, yeah, there's that. There's also the various streaming platforms, YouTube, Odysee, Rumble, Zap.Stream. We're on Kick now, and we're also live on Twitch. I bumped up from 4 streaming platforms to 6, and recently found out about Kick. And, you know, I don't know much about it, but there's people there. And we had a couple listeners earlier today. Or I guess they've been listening most of the day, which is good. So now you can kick us and you can zap us. And the joke I made in Thane's, in the Jitsi chat for Thane's show is you can zap us or you can kick us. Sounds like a bad bludgeon encounter to me, but not in this case, because you'll be giving us money, and we always like when you give us money. Yeah, anyway, then we'll go to break and segue into our second realm strategy session with some great questions posed in the PAZNIA Radio Network Simplex chat. Thane answered them earlier this month, but I figure we'll take a shot at them too. But yeah, we've surely got a surely liberating broadcast for you tonight on the Life Times of P.A.Z.NIA, a monthly news show from Veritas. But yeah, Vonu home basekeeping notes out of the way. Welcome back, Shadrach. I'm actually, I guess I have been for the past few weeks been doing the monthly show from Veritas, actually from Veritas. But who the hell knows where you are? Where are you, and how are things on your end?
Things are good. Yeah, I sent a teaser picture in on Noster, but yeah, I am near the Jura Mountains in I believe Kenton Burn in a wonderful country in Europistan. So it's been another fun adventure.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of I hear about a lot of chaos going on in Europe, but you're finding the best parts of Europe, the the cypherpunk crypto anarchist, I guess, part of Europe. I guess those folks who have been doing this for a long time. And I think
Absolutely.
one of those folks that has been doing it for a long time was on with Thane today, and I have to give you a shout out on the air for that connection. So you messaged me a few days ago, and we had no guest for Thane today. And you're like, yeah, I got this chick named Elena, and she's doing this project. And I was like, all right, I mean, sounds cool. Let's make it happen. And I didn't realize who she was. I've been following her on Twitter for like a decade. This is like OG, like 2013 Bitcoiner, Elena. So yeah, that was good. Did you catch that interview? What do you think?
Oh, I really enjoyed it. That was a fantastic interview, and yeah, she's doing a lot for the conferences, I believe, in Prague, and so I wanted to do anything I could to support her and them. And I figured, you know, we're finding a lot more alignment between different communities and stuff. So it was good. It's been good having all the guests on lately on the show.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, and I mean, there's been a digital connection for a while. Like again, it's been almost a decade. 2017, I think, was the first time I interviewed Smuggler, and I think that's the first time I saw her on Twitter. Was that far back, and I've been following her since then. And yeah, she was one of those. Most Bitcoiners on followed since then,
Yeah,
for a lot of reasons. But she definitely was not one of those. And I hadn't seen a lot of her stuff in a while, so I'm glad that she was on, and she's kind of I guess in our orbit now, and got
yep.
another great resource in the network. But yeah, if you guys are just joining us for the Life Times of P.A.Z.NIA monthly news show from Veritas, please do make sure to check out the entire Self-Liberation Saturday transmission that happened today. This was, I mean, I think they're all great. I've got some best interest in all, but this was basically the first fully live day of shows here on the network. Just before we came on Tinker Tribe Live with Greg Dowd. I wasn't quite sure. I know he's a builder. He does all sorts of cool solar and electrical and off-grid building projects. But yeah, he came on and did an hour straight on just like an amazing kind of cheap mobile solar panel setup. Mounted on a utility dolly, which is someone who worked in the moving industry for quite some time. I'm already kind of he's already piqued my interest. So yeah, if you guys haven't checked out the rest of this transmission, please do make sure to do so. It'll be posted on the Bonnie podcast feed as well here in the next 24 to 48 hours or so. But yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and kind of move on to news here, and I want to hear more about if there's anything you can share. But I'll leave that open in our news segment here, because that is that's kind of the most important news is what's happening on the ground. But I guess we'll cover some more. I guess maybe some bigger things here. One related to something we talked about on our last show, where the Iranians were accepting Bitcoin for oil payments at the Strait of Hormuz. And they're going even further with it now. And this was a Yahoo Finance article from May 18th. So it's titled, "What is Hormuz Safe? Iran uses Bitcoin and crypto to build a swift-free shipping system." So the key takeaways here, I'm not sure how much of this I'll read, but I just kind of want to put it on your radar. Like again, if you would have told me a decade ago that the government of Iran was accepting Bitcoin, I probably wouldn't have believed you. So anyway, this is just kind of maybe a point in history. I'm not sure how relevant it is for our self-liberation purposes. But anyway, Hormuz Safe is a reported Bitcoin-based maritime insurance platform tied to ships passing through the Strait of Hormuz. The system would allow vessels to pay insurance premiums in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, bypassing SWIFT and Western sanctions. Iran and other sanctioned nations are increasingly exploring crypto for trade, oil payments, and cross-border financial activity. So I guess that might be all we really need to know about this. That's kind of the long and short of it, and it's interesting too because I guess one of the big reasons that the oil tankers are not why they stop going through is from the insurance. Like obviously you don't want your oil tanker to get shot down, right? But obviously those tankers are insured, and I think that's done by by Great Britain, and so yeah, I guess they're trying to get around the entire Western finance, insurance. It's the multipolar world's been talked about for a while, and it's crazy. I never thought I'd see this. Like again, like I never would have thought that I would have seen this in my lifetime. Again, again, I didn't have a very good time reference on things, and I've learned a lot more in the past few years on kind of what might be transpiring. But still, it's crazy. What are your thoughts on Iran? Kind of setting up this alternative kind of Bitcoin-based sort of insurance. I guess maybe your current perspective on the geopolitical situation from your perspective.
My best read on it is we definitely disrupted the traditional Lloyd's of London insurance for the shipping industry. Because as soon as the war launched without any prior notice, so normally we would notify other governments if we're going to do something like that, but we did not this time.
Right.
And so they immediately canceled all of their shipping contracts. So there's a lot of moving parts, I think. Something just doesn't quite feel real about it. I mean, I'd like to see some receipts on this Bitcoin
Sure,
being accepted.
Yeah, like yeah, I would too. Like, are there any major transaction on the blockchain for like 100,000 oils of Bitcoin or something, or 100
yeah,
like something like that. Yeah, like they're doing it, but is anyone actually doing it, or are they just using Chinese yuan or something like that? Which I'm guessing it's probably what they're doing.
Yeah.
But no, like it's still interesting though. I mean, it is. I don't know. Yeah, whether it's actually happening or not, I'm not sure. But it's
plus coming from these news sources, I mean, is this just another FUD factor where they can be like, Bitcoin's bad because Iran's using it for this and that?
That's a good angle. A good angle to look at it too. Yeah, a demonization angle. Like, yeah, Iran's using it, so we have to further regulate Bitcoin. Which I mean, obviously, whatever the excuse is, whether it's this or anything else. But yeah, no, that's always good to keep in mind. But nonetheless, even if just for historical purposes, it's cool. Yeah, I guess it would be cooler if they accepted if they were like, yeah, fuck all of this KYC crypto stuff. We're just gonna accept Monero and not even have banks anymore and just go like this straight decentralized crypto route. But obviously, they're a nation state, and that's not gonna. That's probably not gonna happen. But yeah,
still interesting. Very cool.
Yeah. So this next one, which again from your European connections, so I found out about this from you, and it's just kind of a note of, I'm not, it's not a smack on the company. I don't know what's going on. But 2 fiat, the number 2 fiat, it's a prepaid card service that you can pay with pretty much any crypto. But yeah, the service is down for I think it's been a week. It was supposed to be back up yesterday, but now it's June 1st. I don't know what's going on. I'm not worried about it, but hopefully it's back up on June 1st. Hopefully it's just due to a major improvement in their system or something. But yeah, I don't know. Just thought I'd pass it along. But you got any information on this, Shadrach?
No, I've talked to them. They said they're working on it. But I know a couple people who really needed to get one, and I think I think they should really do a deep dive into what happened if they want some to keep doing business. But
I would agree. And if there wasn't a connection like you, I wouldn't. And I didn't have, I might have had like $5 Monero on there or something. So it's not like I would have lost much. But if I didn't know the people behind it, I would be a little more concerned. They can be an exit scammer, but it's probably just maybe they found a bug, maybe they're improving, whatever it is. I don't think it's anything nefarious. But
yeah, I'm certainly not suspicious or anything. I mean, I know a few people who have hundreds of dollars on there, but I mean that's not that much. But no. I more want to use it, and I love Silent Link, and I love the guys behind both companies, and nobody's questioning that. We're just this is I don't know, I hate this feeling of reliance on the legacy system that people are under. I want to be able to do more with our currency in kind than having to go through these rails. But it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you for sure. But no, like it's and I mean I use these solutions, but I'm not necessarily dependent on them. Like it's not like, but there are people who, you know, it's a question that comes up on Thane Show all the time. So yeah, like it's a big, you know, like yeah, to fiat again, to find vetted and trusted services. Don't just, you know, go on any search engine and just search for one of these, because there's a very good chance that one of those ones in the top 10 is just going to take your Monero Bitcoin and not send you anything back. So yeah, these vetted solutions are where it's at, and need more than just to fiat. And there are more out there. I don't have any off the top of my head. There are always more services like this coming out. Just got to make sure they're vetted, not going to take your shit.
Yeah, and I just a quick comment. I think we've done pretty good as a community. I haven't heard of a bad rug pull of anybody within a couple degrees of my circle in some time. So
yeah,
we're everyone's hopeful for 2 fiat. So
yeah,
I will say that
for sure. Yeah, 100%, 100%. So I guess we'll move on to this next one. I'm not sure. Have you ever heard of there's I guess it's still up, but their services are down now. But Hack Liberty, or the Hack Liberty forum.
no.
Okay, so it's kind of a smaller outfit. But they I got a link back on my website because someone posted Sacrament book on strategy or something there, and it was a really cool. They had a Simplex. They had a bunch of Simplex relay. I think it probably had a bunch of service. I don't know what the full extent. Maybe a Tor, a Tor relay. Hosted some stuff. But I guess and I just saw about this, and they don't have, you know, public routes really. So I check like once or twice a month on their platform, and I saw it. But yeah, so Hack Liberty services are down as of March 31st. There's some 1984.hosting shut down Hack Liberty services without warning for alleged illegal abuse activity, despite having our own clearly visible abuse reporting mechanism, and our own, you know, very clear whatever. They appealed the ban, but have lost faith and confidence in choosing 1984 as a long-term hosting provider. So yeah, so their services, a Simplex chat. They had a Darknet Lantern, which I guess is a full mirror link. Forget, which I'm not sure what that is. Forge.io, Private Ben. All sorts of services are down, and I guess they're not going to be migrating. So that's unfortunate. There might be a niche piece of news. I've talked about the Hack Liberty before, and there's even a segment that's played on the radio network where I took a few posts from their forum, which all that stuff's still archived, but it's just nothing new in the future going forward. Yeah, another one. Yeah.
Do you know them? I mean, that this is a problem with centralized providers. I mean, if we could talk to them about moving over to a fully decentralized model, that could be a fun project.
Yeah. So I've tried to. One of the guys, I guess there's a few that are kind of that run it in some fashion or another. I'm in contact with one of them on Simplex, but it's one of those relationships where we exchange messages like once every 6 months or so.
Sure.
Like it's super intermittent, and you know, like I've tried, like we've exchanged messages like, yeah, we should, you know, do more. And we just, it's just, yeah. So yeah, I'm connected, but probably not. It doesn't seem like it's going to be a major project. Maybe they're pivoting to something else. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Good news. Thanks for raising that. It does happen. I've been working with Sovereign Hybrid Compute, and their whole model is we can set up edge data centers, decentralized, like smaller half racks and stuff. If you've got a good internet connection and decent power, plus they're doing a lot of off-grid oil and gas type of generators in the field. So there's some cool stuff happening on the front.
Yeah, no, certainly that, and that's not a. Again, I know loosely about one dude, and I'm sure he's doing some cool shit, whatever he's doing, even if I don't know about it. And that's the best type of shit, you know. Like, you know, that's part of the, you know, being over privacy and security. It's like, I want to know about these things, but if I find out about them, then they might not exist. So, I understand. I understand. But anyway, so we'll move on to this next quick piece of news. PAZCraft news. This is, if you aren't familiar, PAZcraft is our own open source mine test server. It's a PAZcraft, it's a open source Minecraft server essentially. And the basis for the idea is for anyone familiar with Paul Rosenberg's The Lodging of Wayfaring Men. There was something called the free digital economy, where they coordinated, whether it was digital, whether it was digital or physical labor or whatever. A lot of this stuff was coordinated, and payments too, through this digital video game. It was hidden in a video game. And there's a lot more. Avalon, we talk about these high-powered autists in our community, and Avalon is one of those folks. So not only did he take up the mantle of hosting this mine test server, but he put it on a decentralized VPS. But unfortunately, that decentralized VPS ran on a shitcoin. And if you've been on the PAZcraft server in the past month or two, you probably you just tried to sign on recently, you probably didn't get in. He had to kind of get he learned some lessons. We didn't lose much on the map or whatever. But yeah, just go to PAZNIA.com/PAZcraft, and you can get that new connection information. And yeah, obviously for me, I don't really care much about the Minecraft part of it, but the kind of the stuff that they're talking about, and a lot of these, it's like any open source project. Like there's all sorts of plugins and things, or apps that you can very easily integrate. So it's a cool project to keep an eye on. I'm not on it much. I'll go in some Celebration Saturdays if you're watching the video feed. I might fly over the map or something. But there's some cool stuff there, and lots more coming in the future. And I will let the folks that are more interested in those developments know when those are here. But yeah, anything on PAZcraft, Shadrach?
I still haven't tried it, but it does make me think. What was it? Spencer's stuff with Bowl After Bowl. They have an IRC chat, and they're quite interactive. So I was wondering, like, maybe have just times where everyone joins in, like on Self Liberation Saturday. Just try and get as many people on during the show.
Yeah,
could be fun.
Yeah, no, that would be fun, and I need to do a lot more with it. I've told him before, like, he's doing so much work on this. Like, I need to do better promotion on it, and yeah, instead of just organizing a call on Jitsi, like organize a meetup on the PAZcraft. We can still hop on Jitsi and talk. But yeah, mobilize there. And I guess the cool thing about so it's called Minetest versus Minecraft. You can run this on your Android phone. It's super low. Super low, needs computing wise. So
we'll talk through that real quick. What do you install?
Yeah, so you download. It's called Luanti, Luanti, is the app, and then you download Minetest is the game. Or I guess there's a lot of I guess kind of these open source free games on there, but Minetest is the ones you're looking for, and then you'll click the join game. You'll put in the address, the port, you'll put in a name and a password, and if it's your first time, you'll hit register instead of login, and then save that name and password, and then you'll just hit login, going forward. It's super, super easy. Yeah, I'm always amazed by the creative the creative generative force of PAZNians. It's just funny, like you look at the Simplex chat, for example. And it's just a lot of it's like just a bunch of racism and like silly childish humor, which I enjoy and appreciate. But then you hop in the PAZcraft server, and one of the first thing that everyone builds there is just like there's like crosses and like temples and but there's also I guess there is also the what's the Jeffrey Epstein Island on there too. Nice. So yeah, I guess there's all sorts, all very kind of like the PAZNIA Radio Network, all aspects of the human experience, from the entertainment to the very serious, like the Bill Cooper that we close out with. That is going to be a ritual. Every single show, I'll close out with that clip, or that knowing where you're going clip. I found out, but anyway, I guess we'll move forward here. Opening question for you, Shadrach, as far as self-liberation news. This is the most important news, but yeah, from it's been a month. Any developments in the open source Bitcoin Nostr realm? Anything you want to share from your recent adventures?
Yeah, things are going really good. The last, let's see, I've been playing with Mesh Core more and kind of experimenting bringing nodes around with me. I was in Ireland last week, and they're pretty much covered very well with mesh core all over Ireland. There were even hops going back over to the UK. So that was fun. I think there's potential for that for at least kind of local alerting. And like Thane had asked Elena about, had they thought about that, or that kind of came up in that interview. And I think if you look at, I think we just need to kind of scope out different areas and figure out what works where, and then create link ups over the internet between the areas that don't.
Yeah, and I wonder, my big so Matthew's getting close to having our PAZNIA library done, the PeerTube instance, which will once that's done, that'll be my priority, is going in and fucking around with that. It'll be fun. And secondarily to that is the low data audio feed. Apparently PeerTube has open source plugins or plugin or open source software, functionality where I can transcode and then put that out into audio, which there are a lot of PAZNians would appreciate. So that's gonna be the first thing. And I've already been doing a lot of research for the next thing, which is shortwave radio. My posthumous mentor, Bill Cooper, he had the biggest shortwave radio show in the 90s. I want to have the biggest shortwave radio show in the 2020s. That's my goal. So I've been looking into shortwave radio transceivers. And from hearing, from hearing Thane and maybe even you and maybe Polycarp, I'm not sure exactly, but it sounds like with reticulum, for example, there's interoperability between frequencies or I guess different transmission sources. So I wonder, is there any interoperability? Do you know of anything between like shortwave and mesh networks? Anything you can share?
Not that I've looked into really myself. I'm kind of more looking into because I'm working on the node project, and my kind of hopes is that we can have where your node can talk on any of the different frequencies and then share it out among the other ones. So you might be able to pick something up on Meshtastic and broadcast it out Mesh Core. Because on some level, we're looking at device interoperability, not just sending little messages and stuff. Because we've been chunking and encrypting data.
Oh, looks like we just lost Shadrach. Hopefully, he hops back in. Maybe he's on his phone. If you if you just lock your phone, close the Jitsi app, so maybe that's what happened. We'll hope he joins back here momentarily. It happened mid-sentence, so I'm guessing that's what happened. But yeah, I've been looking quite a bit into the shortwave radio sphere, and I found a really cool looking one on eBay. And I guess the thing I asked Jamin about it too. We had a private call a year and a half or so ago. It's been a long time. I need to have him back on the show to talk about it, but with I guess 3D printed devices and chips and things, it sounded like he had better possibilities than kind of the off-the-shelf solutions today. But I found a couple like that. There was that one that looked really cool. That it looked like it was more kind of R&D. There was some like R&D to it. I just want to buy a transceiver and have it kind of work. But I don't know enough about it myself to figure out if I buy this $400 transceiver or whatever, if I'll be able to actually, transmit across the U.S. or across the world or wherever. So, I put out a couple of feelers. I've done some initial research, and as we build up some more PAZNIA funds, we'll be diving into the shortwave radio transmission very, very soon. But looks like Shadrach is back.
I'm back. Sorry about that.
That's okay. That's no problem. No problem. I was just informing listeners on my R&D into I guess off the shelf shortwave radios, and the feelers I put out like in the range of Jamin and folks like that who might have better solutions. That might be cheaper and more DIY, that sort of thing. But Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
very cool. Very cool.
yeah, and I need to. It's been a while, but I feel like Jamin. Actually, no, it was probably Jamin. Jamin was talking about how there's a lot of ways to make these things communicate with each other. So yeah, I need to have Jamin on to go a lot deeper into this. But
For sure.
um, but yeah, I guess anything else from your adventures, or I guess any Bitcoin Lightning, Nostr, open source news before we, I guess, jump forward here.
I didn't take any notes. I'm just winging it. So nothing that pops into my head at the moment.
Hey, no worries.
But the Bitcoin Film Fest is coming up, and that's the Nostr, or I mean, sorry, Nostr. The MoneroCon is running alongside that, so it's like a mutual event. So that's pretty cool that they're doing that. And then Prague is coming up, and there's a Freedom Tech Summit the day before the Prague conference. So there's a lot of really good talks, and I'm doing one as well. So I would say yes. When's RevHodl coming on? Is that it?
We've got about 14 minutes. So yeah, if we've got anything to talk about, we can do that. I had a Richard Greaser song or two ready to go, but yeah, I'd rather talk if we got stuff to talk about.
Cool. Yeah, I just thought it was interesting that you mentioned like you knew the Michigan Freedom community but didn't know him, and I'm just getting more and more of that, and I think it's really good to start reaching out to other freedom communities, and I think we're kind of at this tipping point where people are really starting to be curious about data sovereignty, and I think people are just don't know they're in the second realm yet, but they're thinking it. So
yeah, even if they're in the second realm, then these various networks and communities don't know about each other, or if they do, I mean, there have probably been half a dozen various communities for the past few years that we've been trying to connect with each other, but for some reason or another, it doesn't pan out. So yeah, like really, I think like there are these disparate communities, these disparate networks, and now I think it's been one of your big focuses, and other folks in your Meshadel sort of space too. I can't recall off the top of my head, but that's kind of where we're at now is connecting the disparate communities. And yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Yeah, and it is funny, like I thought, the only reason I'm into all of this shit is from the Michigan Peace and Liberty Coalition, the Midwest Peace and Liberty Fest. I started going to those back in 2015, and up until last year, I'd gone every single year. It's where I met my free wife, and it's where all the first 30 or so people that the vetted first circle of trust for PAZNIA, those were probably 90% Michigan folks.
Wow, very cool. I did not know that. That's awesome.
So yeah, mostly Michigan folks there. There's some like Eastern Chicago, kind of that area. There's like Western Indiana. There's kind of like I could call like a voluntarist trinity there, per se, like Michigan, Indiana, that kind of Eastern Illinois area, or northern Illinois area. But yeah, no, I'm excited to hear from RevHodl, for sure. I've seen some of his live streams, and I like the culture of I'll just say, like, there's honestly, I won't even go there. I'm not sure if those were public or not, but I'll just say he's got a very, very beautiful, looks like permaculture, wooded wilderness area. And Shadrach, have you met RevHodl before? I don't recall if you have.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's fully vetted.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah.
No, he had a very powerful impact on me meeting him in person. Really great guy. And yeah, the Tinker Tribe kind of reminded me of a lot of the stuff that RevHodl does, and maybe having more of those just submitted videos or live videos of like things people are doing on their homestead could be really cool.
Yeah. No, I'm with you entirely. I'm excited to have Greg on here. He's one of those, like he mentioned, he's getting into he's been in this stuff since 2017 or 2018, and those are the folks that I the pre-COVID folks. I appreciate all the folks that got here after that time, but it kind of the I get the real OGs before when things weren't as bad. I really like those, especially those that the hardcore folks, the off-grid DIY projects, and that is Greg. It'll bring a very good dynamic to the network. We got private, and I guess Greg's into some of the crypto stuff too, but he's also just hands-on. Just a hands-on dude. And we need more of those. We need more of those.
We're at the hands-on phase of this first turning.
Yeah. No, we certainly are. We certainly are. So, I guess we've got about 10 minutes here. I guess we could take a brief moment here. I didn't have a song queued up before. I guess it was an hour or so before the show started. But it's one of my favorites, and it will. I guess we'll play this one. And there's another one. So "Sailor Fly Me to the Moon" will be the first one, and if RevHodl drops in, we will stop and talk to RevHodl. But this is Freedom Pioneer Focus, Freedom Music Spotlight, and I always just got to go back to the great Richard Dick Reeser, and it's been a long time since I played this song on the network. So Shadrach, you good for a short music break here, my friend?
I'd love one. Sounds good.
All right, we will. So this is "Sailor Fly Me to the Moon" by Richard Dick Reeser, and enjoy.
Mr. Sailor, fly me to the moon on your Bitcoin rocket ship. We'll record in the podcast room, play some fiat games, and even touch tips. 6102 is a conspiracy. Brian Armstrong says the funds are safe food. When I'm with you, I feel electricity. Mr. Sailor, take my hand. Let's be special friends and hope this party never ends. You're the man I have eyes for. Can I listen to you speak some more? You are pumping my bags as hard as my heart is pumping now. Bitcoin is going to the moon, and I'll let you be Big Spoon. My wife is a little jealous, but you've made me so damn zealous. I've never seen straight men act so gay when they rush to listen to you on stage, but I know I'm the one you adore. Let me take off my pants and let you explore. Mr. Sailor, fly me to the moon on your Bitcoin rocket ship. We'll record in the podcast room, play some fiat games, and even touch tips. You're the man I have eyes for. Can I listen to you speak some more? You are pumping my bags as hard as my heart is pumping now. Bitcoin is going to the moon, and I'll let you Big Spoon. Mr. Sailor, fly me to the moon on your Bitcoin rocket ship. We'll record in the podcast room, play some fiat games, and even touch tips. You're the man I have eyes for. Can I listen to you speak some more? You are pumping my bags as hard as my heart is pumping now. Bitcoin is going to the moon, and I'll let you be Big Spoon.
That was our Freedom Music Spotlight, Sailor Fly Me to the Moon, a wonderful classic jazz track from the 1970s, 1870s actually, from the great Richard Dick Reeser, produced on his typewriter. So welcome back, folks. Looks like our guest, or I guess our Freedom Pioneer Focus guest for the evening has dropped in. This is RevHodl. RevHodl, are you with us?
Oh, no.
Maybe not.
There he is.
Not me. Hey guys. Yeah, sorry, I couldn't find a mute button there.
No worries.
What's going on?
No worries, brother. It's great to have you. Thanks for taking some time. I know it's a little later where you are, an hour later. But yeah, welcome. And I guess for the folks, I don't know much about you. I know I think I know you're a permaculture farmer from Michigan that's also into Bitcoin. But I guess, yeah, inform me, my ignorant self, and then also our listeners too, on who you are and kind of what you do in the freedom realm.
Well, I've been trying to just get separated from the fiat system as much as possible over the last 10 years, maybe a little longer, while I've been doing this work in this 20-acre homestead here in Southwest Michigan. And so that started off with me, working from the permaculture angle first. And I did that for several years. I got a permaculture design certificate in 2016, which when I say I got that certificate, really what that did was it gave me permission in my mind to actually start to implement some of the design ideas that I had for what I'm working with here at the homestead. And so that's sort of went from nothing, there was no existing fruit trees or anything here, to where now I've got some Katahdin hair sheep, some East Frisian dairy sheep, a couple Halflinger draft ponies, a little mini pony. I've built a little 20-foot yurt, a 20-foot tiny house. I've got fruit trees, a mature food forest, which grows both perennials and subsistence style crops. I produce maple syrup. I grow cannabis, and my cannabis is integrated with my rabbits. So I'm producing rabbit meat as well. Making maple syrup, foraging for mushrooms on the property. I'm doing a whole bunch of different stuff as far as the natural capital side of things is concerned. And in addition to that, after, getting all those systems rolling, I kind of simultaneously was learning about Bitcoin, and Bitcoin was really kind of the missing piece to this permaculture lifestyle that I was living. Because if you know permaculture, there's three ethics. There's earth care, people care, and the third ethic I call non-extraction. Now, the founders of permaculture, David Holmgren and Bill Mollison, they define the third ethic as redistribution of the surplus back to the system. But I think that this non-extraction way of saying it is a little bit more, it's a simpler way to get at the same point. And if you look at, these centralized fiat systems, they're ultimately very extractive systems. And so if you're trying to, practice permaculture ethically, you should be trying, or ethically, I am trying not to participate in that. And it's very difficult to not participate in that if the only money that you have access to is these fiat currencies. And so where Bitcoin comes in is it allows me to opt out of those systems and still be able to have some sort of money that is instead of extractive, generative. And so when I started using Bitcoin, that meant that now I started finding Bitcoin meetups, and that gave me market access for my homestead goods. And so now I'm going to a Bitcoin meetup once a week, at least within a 2-hour range of the homestead, to sell the lamb and the maple syrup and whatever else I might be producing. And, I also use, because if you're all in Bitcoin with your financial capital, and now it's all in Bitcoin culture as well, you should probably participate in Bitcoin to the highest degree possible, because, this is your life at this point. And so that leads into, I should probably own and operate some hash rate in addition to running the node. And so I have converted my clothes dryer to mine Bitcoin. My hot water heater mines Bitcoin. I grow my cannabis starts, my vegetable starts with a Bitcoin heated cold frame. I load balance my solar power system with Bitcoin miners. You get the idea. I integrate Bitcoin mining into almost every aspect of the homestead. And this has gotten to the point where now the only way I acquire Bitcoin is either through mining or through earning it. I don't have to touch the KYC systems at all. I have access to liquidity for my Bitcoin for fiat when I do need to get back into the fiat system through the meetups. Mm-hmm. And I really am living this lifestyle of producing as sovereign as I can be, right? I'm producing some of my own power. I'm producing some of my own food. I don't have to touch the dollar as much as I used to, less and less so. And I guess that's been the last 10 years for me.
No, that's yeah, energy, money, network. Yeah, like that's the kind of a big few things. So I guess so Shadrach kind of talked about this before you came on here, but my entire path back in 2015, pretty much I got into anarchy and freedom and all those things pre-Bitcoin for me. But I found out about the Midwest Peace and Liberty Fest put on by the Michigan Peace Liberty Coalition, and I think you're up in Michigan, and I thought I knew every freedom community up in Michigan, but apparently I don't. So I guess could you give me any insight, I guess, on kind of any community or network around you, where you are, and kind of anything you can share?
Well, so yeah, those guys are now kind of starting to overlap with I'll say the Michigan Freedom and Peace. I forget the name of them, but
Michigan Peace and Liberty Coalition. So you're familiar with them?
Yeah, they got on my radar a few years ago, and I've been basically participating in the Bitcoin meetup side of things. So there's almost like these two cultures that are, it sounds like, operating in similar channels that don't really know each other or overlap. And so I think this year is going to be one of the years where they finally do create some sort of overlap in the territory, because at this event here at the end of July, at the beginning of August, the Lake Satoshi retreat, I think that their festival there is going to be it's going to follow the Lake Satoshi Bitcoin retreat, and it's going to roll right into that one right afterwards at the same location.
Okay.
So
that's cool.
there should be some co-mingling of the two cultures.
That's so good to hear. That's absolutely amazing. I think I might miss Lake Satoshi this year, so I'm just going to put that out there. Something's come up that I can't refuse, and it's I'm sacrificing for all of us by doing this, but I'm probably not going to be there this year.
Well, hey man, that's all right. There's going to be plenty of other folks from the Meshtadel and elsewhere hanging out, and you'll be missed, but man, the party's going to go on either way.
It will. Fundamentals said I should go with this other thing, and that it would be rubbed in my face for all eternity, but it's gonna be worth it.
Well, sure. And Lake Satoshi at this point has been happening every year for the past several years, and so it'd be safe to assume that it's going to happen again.
Oh yeah.
You can't make every single one, whatever, you know. The meme is and I know we've already met at Lake Satoshi, hung out there, but you know, for the people that haven't made it to Lake Satoshi, usually the way it works out is that you hear about it, it sounds amazing, but you heard about it a little too late, and you want to get there, but you can't quite get there, because it is a little bit of a tricky place to get to. It's not like right next to an international airport or anything. So it's camping, you know, primitive camping to a large degree. And so there's some logistical things that you got to put together in order to get out to this event.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So let me see here, pull up my outline here. So I guess I've also seen I need to pay more attention, and hopefully I will after talking to you. So there's a Meshtadel group on Signal, and I've seen you post some stuff about live streams on Nostr and things. Talk a little bit about some of the content creation and that sort of angle that you're doing.
Yeah, I guess that's another. I'm at this point only participating in this like social media, internet sharing of information kind of thing on Nostr exclusively at this point.
Cool.
And so that means that I do a permaculture based live stream on the first Wednesday of every month at 8:30 Eastern time. And so I'll come up with a permaculture topic and get a bunch of people in this corny chat room, and we'll just all have a discussion based around that central focus. And so that's one thing that I do. I've been doing that for a few years. And in addition to that, I like to talk on podcasts like this. I produce video content in the form of vlogs, you could say, of just like my day to day here at the homestead. I do pictures and some more like detailed notes around some of the mining contraptions that I'm building and working with. And then I also just recently started a new podcast with a co-host, Reed, and that's called Local Bitcoiners. And we showcase Bitcoin meetup cultures from all over the place. We talk to Bitcoin meetup organizers and really shed some light on the value that you can get from attending these meetups. I really think that anyone that hasn't gone to a Bitcoin meetup should, and they're interested in really using the Bitcoin and maximizing the utility that you can get out of it, you're really missing out if you don't find and attend your local meetup or start a meetup or interact with the meetups in one way or another.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've got another question or two, but Shadrach, you might as well. You got anything you want to ask or bring up here?
The Local Bitcoiners is an amazing podcast. I highly recommend it. Even if it's not, it might not seem relevant to you, but there's little ideas and nuggets, and it really fires your brain off on what you can do within your community. So highly recommended. And back on the intermingling subject, maybe y'all could add some different kind of freedom meetups to the podcast, if you wanted RevHodl.
Oh yeah, I mean, like Rayo, you do this event, I think, in Illinois somewhere, right?
Our big ones, yeah, our big main one is Vonu Fest. Yep.
Yeah, and I've been trying to figure out a way to get down to that, because it sounds like my people would be there. You know, the same kind of folks that at a Bitcoin meetup would be at an event like that. And you know, we're on the show. We talk to Bitcoin meetup organizers, and you think, okay, a Bitcoin meetup organizer, they're going to talk about the venue of their meetup and the format of their meetup. Is it Socratic seminar? Is it a drinking thing? But really, if you're a Bitcoin meetup organizer, that means you're a pretty hardcore Bitcoiner to begin with. And so that means you probably have some other interesting shit going on related to Bitcoin, freedom tech, and sovereignty as well.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, most definitely. So I've I got taken this right. You mentioned I've seen the videos on live streams, and as a previous gardener myself, I'll say that I'm not doing it this year. Our house burnt down on February, and along with that, a couple pounds and a lot of really good genetics, custom genetics to here, seeds. But I guess could you talk a little bit more about anything, I guess, your cannabis setup, your permaculture cannabis setup, and just whatever details you'd like to share there. Yeah, the cannabis system is really one of my favorites for a lot of reasons. One, it's just so it's a very as far as like capital is concerned, it's a very generative system for building capital. It basically, at this point, I have no inputs from outside the homestead to produce the cannabis. So I'm working with the seed that I'm breeding from the previous seasons. All of the pots and everything that I use is basically repurposed trash. All the compost that I'm using to feed the cannabis is grown and produced here at the homestead. Basically, my horses produce manure. I feed that manure to my chickens. They compost the manure down. And so now I've got this chicken manure, horse manure, supercharged compost that I'm using to grow the cannabis. And then in addition to that, I grow my cannabis in my rabbit colony. So I have a colony style rabbit system that produces about 150 pounds of rabbit meat a year. Now, just as an aside, I recently had a coccidia outbreak in the colony. So we're taking this year off of the rabbits. We've harvested all the rabbits, and we don't have any rabbits currently, which has meant that now I get to play with some of the volunteers that have come up in the cannabis garden, because normally the rabbits would just devour anything that pops up right before they get a chance to establish. But needless to say, when the rabbits were in the system, what I do is I exclude the cannabis from the rabbits with a cage, and I allow the cannabis to grow up through that cage. And so any of the branches that grow through the cage that the rabbits can eat, they have access to eat that cannabis. So the cannabis is, to a non-insignificant degree, providing some food for the rabbits. And they're doing your I guess your maintenance work on the plant for you too, kind of.
Yeah, getting to the end of the season, I do also use the rabbits to help me trim the cannabis. But before I get there, the special thing about this relationship between the rabbits and the cannabis is the rabbit manure. So the rabbit manure is not, it's like, unlike any other manure here at the homestead, any of the horse manure, sheep manure, chicken manure, any manure that I've got, all those need some sort of aging or composting before it's really kind of ideal to feed to a plant. The rabbit manure, on the other hand, is not hot. It doesn't need any of that. The rabbits can basically poop right at the base of the cannabis plant, and the cannabis can eat that manure fertility right away. And so what I do is I weed my food forest. I might be doing some prunings, whatever, any vegetative material from the homestead that I produce, I bring it into the cannabis garden. I mulch around the base of the cannabis plants with that vegetative material, which feeds my rabbits. And therefore, as the rabbits are eating that food, they're depositing their fertility at the base of the cannabis. And so the cannabis is dry farmed. I basically water it in a couple times just to get it established once I transplant it out of the pots. And from there, it's just on its own. And the rabbits are doing the majority of the work, weeding around it, making sure that there's no competition for the cannabis, and helping to grow it. Now, when it comes down to harvest time, and so I am breeding this cannabis for seeds. So I do keep 1 or 2 males. I select 1 or 2 males that I want in the garden. As soon as those males start to drop their pollen, like I watch, like as soon as that pollen starts to drop, I cut those plants down and I tap each of my females with it and pollinate the females right at the beginning of the flowering stage, and then feed those males to the rabbits. And so what this yields is like I get a light pollination, a decent seed set, but it's not like the buds are completely filled with seed to where it's not a really usable product for if you're consuming it as a THC kind of thing, smoking it. And so I get a decent harvest for consumption as well as a decent seed yield at the same time.
Right.
And so, yeah, as the plants become mature, late October, early November, depending on the weather and all kinds of other factors, I start to prune. I DCA my cannabis harvest, right? I start to cut branches and weave them into the fence of the rabbit colony. The rabbits then eat the fan leaves and the sugar leaves off there, and they leave me with the bud. And the reason why they leave me with the bud is because all that resin on those buds, the rabbits, they're so well fed, they're not interested in fighting with that sticky stuff. And so they just take what's easy, what they like, and they leave me with what I want. I think this is actually a natural mechanism of the cannabis plant to that resin actually helps to protect the seed. It discourages animals from eating it. And so this works out very well for me. Now the rabbits are doing about 80% of the trim work. Now anybody that's grown cannabis knows that the processing of the cannabis at the end is probably as labor intensive as the whole season of growing it, right? It's a huge part of the component of actually getting the cannabis from the plant growing in the ground to something you can consume. And so once again, the rabbits are doing a lot of that work for me, which is really sweet. And like I said, the rabbits are paying me in rabbit meat for all this work that they're doing for me. And so the feed for the rabbits is essentially free. I do supplement them with a little bit of a grain mix just to make sure that they have a well-balanced diet, because sometimes I might be feeding them one type of weed that I'm pulling for a week at a time.
Right.
And so I want to get a little bit more diversity in their diet. But that's the only input in the system, is just this little bit of grain mix that I feed the rabbits. Otherwise, everything else comes from right here in the homestead.
Yeah. No, that's great, and it's true about the rabbits for sure. So before the couple spots, the couple outdoor plants some of the couple outdoor plants I had where our rabbits used to be. We raised a bunch of rabbits there, and I also had like 20 or 30 chickens or ducks in that area too. So like that soil was just amazing. I had some electroculture too. I'm not sure if you've done anything with copper and antennas or anything of that sort. But those with whether it was the rabbit shit or the electroculture, I don't know. I don't control for variables. I just watch in amazement. But yeah, like those ones got to like the I guess the top of the house. So yeah, like there's something to be said about rabbit shit. I guess lamb shit too. We used to have lambs up until a few months ago. We're switching over to goats primarily at this point. But no, like there's if you've got animals, it's the best free nutrition, or I guess the best free fertilizer. I suppose. Let me see here. I think there was something else. Maybe not. Shadrach, you got anything?
No, it's great having you on. Good talking again.
For sure. So I guess just to to hone in on one final thing here, Rev. So you said that here in the next few months, there's going to be some overlap between the Michigan Peace and Liberty Coalition and I guess kind of the Bitcoiners. Can you provide, I guess, the specific details for that event before we let you go?
Yeah. So my understanding is this Michigan Peace and Liberty Fest is going to be happening right after or shortly after the Lake Satoshi retreat. Now, I don't know the details on that event, but the Lake Satoshi retreat, Saturday, August 1st is the big day. And then so it would be like the Friday, June 29 or 30. I don't know what, and the last day of June is. I don't know what that is. You show up on Friday, you know, or maybe even Thursday, hang out, set up your camp, whatever. And then Saturday is the big day with the, you know, there's some panels and barbecues and all kinds of stuff, swimming at the lake, or just people hanging out. And then Sunday, people have breakfast and kind of filter on out. So that would be July 1st, or not, I'm sorry, August 1st. And then Sunday, August 2nd, people kind of head out.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. No, that's good. So like there was, I guess at this point there's only 2 festivals that I want to go to in the future, and one was Midfest in Oklahoma where I met Shadrach, and this one's brought to my mind again. It's always been there, but I forget about it. But Lake of Satoshi would be the other. And then going back to the Midwest Community Liberty Fest again, but it's different than it was a decade ago, so it's not necessarily the same inclination. But no, I need to go to Lake of Satoshi as well. Not gonna happen this year. Hopefully next year. But yeah, Rev. Anything else for the listeners? I guess if you got any closing words of wisdom or tips and tricks to any self-liberators from all sorts of liberated lifestyles. Yeah, anything you got?
I think, you know, it's very easy to even think that you have a low time preference about getting started doing this stuff, and a lot of times your ambitions can be higher than what is realistically achievable in any given time frame. And so it can be discouraging, you know, when you get started and you feel like it's an overwhelming amount of things to do to really completely divorce yourself from these systems that you don't want to participate in anymore. And the key is to just continuously take one step at a time. Use those permaculture principles, you know, self-regulate, accept and apply feedback, value diversity, you know, work from patterns to details, all these kinds of things. Just slowly refine the systems and the process, lean into what's working, do a lot of experiments, simultaneously, you know, shed what's not working, learn as much as you can, observe and interact, and just keep plugging away at it. It can be, you know, from my perspective, it's like any of this shit can hit the fan at any moment. And if you're not ready, you're screwed. But at the same time, if it's impossible to be ready, you know, the best thing you can do is to just continuously improve and keep walking that path.
Yeah. Yeah, most certainly, and well said. Well, RevHodl, it's only been about half hour. I think we could probably talk for 2 or 3 hours. And we just started up the monthly news show. I'll get back to doing Vonu podcast lives. I just only have so much time at this juncture for live shows. But at some time here in the next few months, I want to have you on the Vonu podcast to go much deeper into all of the autistic details that I want to get into on your homestead. And all of those angles. But yeah, Rev, it was great to get acquainted. Thanks so much for coming on. It's been great.
Well, thank you guys. Yeah, it's been a little bit of a scheduling issue trying to find the right time, and we finally crossed paths here on the internet, and I'm glad I could join you.
Likewise, brother, and looking forward to crossing paths in physical space and time. Setting that intention for the next year or so. So, yeah.
It's a good start, just all being in the same chat together. This was really cool. Thanks for coming on.
Awesome. All right. See you guys later.
Right on, Rev. Have a good one. All right. So that was RevHodl, our Freedom Pioneer focus. So I guess what we will do, and I did have, like we talked about a couple of times, regimented, like at this hour, at this time, we're gonna go to break. But no, we're gonna do a couple things here. So we're gonna start VonuLife Digital Message Board. and cover just some simplex messages and one of the big pirate radio news for PRN, which I kind of already mentioned. And then I want to then we'll go to our first break and come back for our second realm strategy session with some very good questions that were messages from the message board. So it's a good segue. Anyway, we'll get to some simplex notes for our VonuLife Digital Message Board. I guess we could do this little silly ditty. Hold on a second here. We'll do the little silly ditty. Here we go.
It's that time again here on the Life and Times of PAZNIA, wherein we deeply wish to hear from you, dear PAZNIA Radio Network listener. Have a lead or tip for us to pursue? Got a question? Got some shit to talk? Just want to leave a donation? There are many ways to do so. Give us a call, PAZNIA.com/call2. Leave us a message and donation at xmrchat.com/PAZNIA Radio. Or drop a comment in any of the various PAZNIA simplex chats. The second realm is nothing without you, fellow self-liberator. So please do reach out. This is the VonuLife Digital Message Board.
All right. I got to adjust all the volume settings again. Anyway, we're here. So yes, this is the VonuLife Digital Message Board. Yes, everything is unmuted. Just got to double check now. So this first one is from, I think it's from Fagdul or Avalon. I think it's Avalon. So I made a comment about looking for more places to stream. Just jumped on Kick, and he tossed on he tossed 100 links as he usually does. And let me see if there's any. I'm trying to remember if there might have been one or two of these I wanted to shout out. But yeah, there's a bunch of these. Maybe not. I don't remember why I put that in there a couple weeks ago. I guess that's it. Rayo needs more social networks. Here's a bunch of stuff. Thank you, Avalon. Much appreciated, my friend. Now, the biggest and most important news. Beat me to the punch. PAZNIA Radio Network was always intended to be a pirate radio network in some fashion. Didn't know how that would pan out. But thanks to that self-liberational, self-directed, energy. Tech Libre posted on X, May 6th. The official embassy of PAZNIA in Greater Peru invites you to listen to our free English language podcast. Learn English 100% free of Monroe Doctrine and communist propaganda, broadcasting live on 3 watts, Pirate AM and MeshNet. So if you happen to be tuning in from the Greater Peru area, you don't have to listen through these blasted internet lines. You can just go straight to pirate radio, which is what we're hoping to do. It's just infrastructure is not easy. It's not easy when you have millions, billions of dollars of infrastructure, or money, stolen dollars for infrastructure, and it's definitely not from the ground up. But yeah, Shadrach, any thoughts on our words are being transmitted in Peru right now? To maybe a million people driving in their cars on pirate radio station. Who the hell knows? It's crazy to think about, right?
No, I think that's amazing, and I'd really like to make a box that you basically plug a line into, and it's like the PAZNIA transmitter box, and we've got a stream going 24/7, and you can just for $50 get there's a minimum watt you can get for going to a drive-in theater. They have those FM transmitters you can get. And it'd be cool to just have all kinds of different transmission mechanisms going.
Yeah, for sure. But no, that was a great thing to. I hear from Tech Libre every once in a while, and I did message him, and some Saturday he's going to come on and talk. He's a cool dude, and he's down there in South America. So yeah, that'll be something to look forward to. I tossed this in there. I think I learned this Zap.Store. I'm trying to remember. It was one of the interviews you shared with me. I'm pretty sure it's where I learned from I learned about Zap.Store. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to. I'll just toss out. I haven't used this yet because I'm not gardening now. I'm not gardening at this point. But I stumbled across an app on Zap.Store and it looked amazing. And I wanted just to give it a shout out. It's called Digi Agri App. And instead of writing your, instead of scribbling your garden and plant layouts on pieces of paper, you can have a nice app, private app to do it on via Zap.Store. It looks very, very, very cool. If you're a gardener like RevHodl, check it out. I've
Wow,
checked it
what's
out.
that? What was that again?
Digi Agri app.
Yeah, awesome.
Basically set out the the boundaries to your plants and have a instead of doing it on graph paper or spreadsheet or something like that, whatever. However people do it. It looked cool. Thought I'd toss it out there. I will be looking into it next year. And I'm looking forward to actually trying it out, but we'll give him a free shout out here on the PAZNIA Radio Network. The Life Times of P.A.Z.NIA, monthly news show from Veritas. If you want to give us a call, PAZNIA.com/call2, you can leave a message or donate xmrchat.com/PAZNIA Radio. So at this point, Shadrach, I guess we will go ahead and go to our only break. And when we come back, it'll kind of be a combination of the message board and Instagram strategy session. Some very good and pertinent questions, things I want to address. But we'll go ahead and get this break rolling. PAZNIA.com/call2, xmrchat.com/PAZNIA Radio.
Call in.
Please do call in. Yeah, please do call in.
Now, when it comes to weird alternative health shit, you may have heard of Brown's gas, boss, aka molecular hydrogen. Technically, actually, molecular hydrogen is just one part of what Brown's gas is, but whatever. It's a kind of wellness treatment used by health professionals and weirdos all over the world, both mainstream and otherwise. They got gas bars in Japan and shit. Big body of research showing that this therapy likely helps with pretty much everything: cancer, diabetes, heart disease, pretty much every organ system in the body. Over 1,500 papers, therapeutic potential for 170 diseases. In broad strokes, it works by fucking electrolyzing water into hydrogen and oxygen, and then you breathe that shit and you drink the water that it's bubbled through. And these gases are, negatively charged and shit, and they get into every cell of your body. It's probably how magical healing springs work, at least partially. The water is hydrogen enriched. Now, the PAZNIA Department of Health and Wellness has run R&D on these machines for about 4 years, and the top machine being recommended right now is the Lord's Hydrofix by Holy Hydrogen. And can you believe it? We have a coupon code for a product that isn't on our own fucking store. There's a first time for everything, so save a fat chunk of change on the Department of Health and Wellness's top recommended machine, and support Cloak and Dagger at the same time by heading on over to holyhydrogen.com and inputting coupon code VONU100 to get $100 off your Lord's Hydrofix. You're going to want to do your own research on this. The Molecular Hydrogen Institute website can help you with that. There's whatever, you can use whatever resources you want. There's a huge body of research on this. You know as well as I do, hopefully, that there are a lot of bullshit health tonics and gimmicks being hawked out there. The Brown's gas is one of the truest, most powerful tonic treatments out there in the world by far. When you learn for yourself how much of a health and wellness bombshell molecular hydrogen truly is, you're going to see why having your own machine is truly worth the investment. These machines are a bit costly, okay? I'm not going to lie to you, but they last for ages, and they may help you save on health costs in the long run. Nothing's a bigger deal than your health, so pony the fuck up. Go to holyhydrogen.com, use coupon code VONU100, Victor Oscar November Uniform 100. get $100 off.
Hey guys, Scott here for Liberty Under Attack Publications. Looking for a Liberty-focused publisher? Liberty Under Attack publishes books and strategy guides for individuals looking to increase their personal freedom. They assist authors through the entire publishing process: proofreading, editing, cover designs, paperback and Kindle formatting, and full audiobook narration and post-production. Tell them Scott sent you and get 20% off a full service deal. To get some one-of-a-kind books or for more information, visit libertyunderattack.com.
Liberty Under Attack Publications is your source for all things self-liberation. Featuring high-quality agorist and anarchist fiction, Paul Rosenberg's A Lodging of Wayfaring Men and his The Breaking Dawn are two great starts. The Brushfire series by Matthew Wojtecki is stellar, #Agora, and more. Save Bitcoin or fiat by buying a bundle, such as the Strategy Sample Pack, wherein you can explore a few different strategies to the problem of freedom. At Current, Vonu, Ben Stone's Vision, and Second Realm book on strategy. And once you're inspired to take action in your own life, head on over to the Ghost Pads and Privacy Tools tab to get yourself a Ghost Phone and Ghost Pad, and secure your communications from both the public and private spies. Stock up your home apothecary with items from Aura's Apothecary, Black Drawing Salve, Comfrey Salve, Natural Insect Repellent, and much more. And finally, the newest edition, PAZNIA Farms Canned Goods, Cowboy Candy, Pickles, Salsa, etc. Of course, all of the canned goods and the apothecary items are made with the highest quality ingredients, some grown here at the homestead. Head on over to libertyunderattack.com, again libertyunderattack.com, to check out our full catalog or to place your order today. Bitcoin accepted and preferred. Email if you'd like to pay with XMR, shane@libertyunderattack.com, or if you'd like to place an international order. Again, libertyunderattack.com. Liberty Under Attack Publications. Share your story. Find your freedom.
Rayo, Shadrach, hide the guns and the drugs. We about to finna be back on the air.
This is the Life and Times of PAZNIA, a monthly news show from Veritas. Now, your humble hosts, Rayo2 and Shadrach.
Hey, are we back?
Don't want to do that again. Welcome back to the Life Times of PAZNIA, a monthly news show from Veritas. Here from Veritas, and I don't even remember where you are, Shadrach.
Yeah, I'm in Switzerland, and it's 3:18 a.m.
Yeah, that's late. I don't know if I could do it, so I appreciate it. Yeah, certainly appreciate it. Hope you're. I don't know if you need coffee or caffeine or anything like that, but or if just the fuel of liberation is enough for you.
It's the fuel of liberation.
There you go.
This is a global broadcast to all who are listening.
And time isn't real anyway, right? So fuck it. It don't matter.
Totally.
All right. Anyway, so yeah. Anyway, if anyone wants to call in, PAZNIA.com/call2. You can leave a message at xmrchat.com/PAZNIA radio. But we're gonna, I guess, VonuLife Digital Message Board and the Second Realm strategy session commingling here. But these are some amazing questions that were dropped in the chat, and well, I don't have comprehensive answers to all of them. They're worthy to ask and worthy to provide some sort of response to. So, and I don't recall who the hell asked these questions. I guess that's one good thing about Simplex is it's almost impossible to track threads beyond a certain point. But anyway, whoever asked this, thank you. Much appreciated. First question: what are the A2AD measures in place on PAZNIA homesteads? And a note here from me: A2AD is anti-access area denial, and I guess it could also mean air-to-air defense too. But regardless of what he meant. Furtherance of his question, gates, guard posts, fences, walls, or berms, and how do you think about freedom of movement on your own land when satellite and drone surveillance is a threat? Camo netting overhead, tunnels. So yeah, lots of good stuff there. First off, I would probably every node at the every PAZNIA node is different. Some are in the cities, some are rural wilderness, some semi-permanent autonomous, zones are probably on federal land in the west somewhere. So it's general, I guess, it's relative to what node you're talking about. But I think generally, if we're talking about, kind of like, I guess maybe kind of the more wilderness node, speaking for, Veritas and from what I know of the network, I'd say it's probably it's probably pretty traditional. Fences, guns, and choosing optimal locations would be kind of the start. I guess the start to that. I used to joke about the Great Wall of PAZNIA, and it's kind of a joke, but it'd be cool as shit sometime. Basically, the entire perimeter. We've got a 22-acre homestead here. The entire perimeter, or actually, it's not even the 22 acres, but the part that's exposed to the road, like 2 high of shipping containers all the way around. The Great Wall of PAZNIA. I think it'd be fun. It'd be cool. But jokes aside, no, that's yeah, fences, guns, location, deterrence. I think those are probably the primary ones. Obviously, Thane's done a lot of talking about, and I'm very much watching the geopolitical situation in the world now. That Ukraine's still holding on, and it's because they've got their fucking housewives building drones with 3D printers. That's the only reason they're standing a chance is from drones, drone warfare. But no, it's just the world's different. The world's entirely different, and it's interesting. Lots of things to venture out into. But yeah, as far as defense now, I think it's probably more the traditional methods with more to come, and more that if there's actually developments, we won't talk about it. So
well, a couple things from the view from the air is from the sky is real. I mean, just make things look as inconspicuous as possible, and know that if somebody wants to, they can look pretty close. So just don't do anything stupid out in the open. And I think for air-to-air defense, I think focusing on the defense part, if we're able to deploy drones, we don't have to be able to shoot things, but we need to know where things are. So maybe think about systems of sovereign cameras and drones that can do detection. Also, you can use Ray Hunter to find out if new signals have come in your area, and tools like that.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, no, the satellites and such is one thing. I don't know, like it's going underground is like the way to the way to go. I'm not sure if there's really a way to hide. Yeah, but overground now. I think it's kind of like what we talked about last time with Shadrach, where we've got to practice the privacy and security culture principles we can, and just do what's right and what we need to do, and kind of go from there. That's all we really can do, at least for right now, until until other things happen. But trying to think. There's one other. You mentioned something that was it was a point that I was going. I'm gonna give it a second here to see if it comes back. But came to overhead tunnels. No, I guess we'll just. Yeah, I guess we'll just kind of leave it at that. It's probably more traditional defense at this time, encompassed with the security culture principles, which gets to another question of his. And I guess we'll get to that one. We'll get to that one next because it's in order. So this question is responses to a threat can be fight, direct action or self-defense, flight, mobility, or freeze, privacy, gray man, encryption, camouflage, etc. Is PAZNIA strong or weak in each of these areas? What is the biggest area for growth? And so the strong point, and Thane was on the ball with this, is especially with the freeze part, the default privacy and security culture considerations of PAZNIANs are pretty solid, even if not perfect. They're solid. So yeah, that's definitely an advantage. And then there are obviously the plenty of autistic paranoid folks like myself and others that go further. We'll go further with those things. So yeah, I guess the privacy and security culture is an advantage, almost maybe to a disadvantage. But I guess the line's not very clear. The other strong point is flight, mobility. Obviously that's like the core of Vonu is mobility. So and I mean it's one of the reasons that this entire thing is here to begin with is from van nomads essentially. So as far as strong points, flight and freeze are definitely the advantages. The weak point would be at this point, and I think it's just because like a lot of major nation states are now, other than maybe the U.S. of I, they're all kind of adjusting to the new stage of modern warfare, which is basically there's no the enemy almost always knows what you're doing through surveillance. Like we were talking about with the satellite surveillance and drone surveillance and all of that intelligence. They know where you are, and they can shoot down all of those kind of old school, super expensive weapons packages. And even if you can't shoot them down, there's only so many that can be produced. And especially in this kind of Western military-industrial complex, private military sort of angle. This shit's really, really expensive. So if like a $1,000 drone shoots down your $25 million missile, that's kind of an embarrassment. So the entire, it's kind of why I don't pay much attention to geopolitics usually, but this is a big time. The structure of the world's changing. The structure of modern warfare is changing. Kind of like with the advent of the firearm that put a lot of the power back to the people. This sort of technology it's obviously a major tool towards enslavement right now. But it also gives us, again, a lot of these are theoretical and shit's still got to be built. And all of that, but this technology can provide a lot of advantages to us in this defense realm. So I guess a lot of that's to come. The last thing I'll say here is, in terms of like defense, I guess there's another area of fighting that I don't think we're necessarily at a disadvantage at all. I mean, maybe in terms of numbers and resources, but in terms of training, maybe not. If anyone's been to VonuFest in the past few years, they might have gotten training from our firearms training from our resident Pat Henry. If you've been to VonuFest and gotten firearms training, you're definitely above the board there. And I've also noticed Thane is too. But even if not professionally, it seems like many others are in fighting shape and enjoy sparring, MMA, jiu-jitsu, or whatever. So even if there's, there's always things to improve at, right? There's always ways to get better, but I think there's a lot that we're doing a pretty good job at in terms of the PAZNIA network. But I'll open up to you. What do you got on responses to the threat or strengths, weaknesses, anything like that?
Well, when we build out our, the Thane's defense markets, that'll give us a lot of leeway. I really like those ideas. And then I think for the fleeing part, I think the better coordination between the nodes. So those are some of the things I'm working on, and trying to program again along with a lot of things theories as well. Because I think fleeing is one thing, but you really need a place to go to, and possibly a place that is inconspicuous and can't be seen from the sky. So fleeing is best if you have somewhere specific you're going, and that's the coordination part.
Yeah, and God, I know the shit's being worked on, but it need to be here like last year, 10 years ago, or whatever. But
I know.
so SkyHodl, like one of the interviews with SkyHodl said, he was talking like with the Bork engine potentialities, like plasma drilling. And that's one of the biggest, Rayo was working, going towards the underground route before, or I guess the troglodyte living, semi-underground, above ground. But it's like I think we're really on, just like with the energy portion, we are right on the fucking verge of, I mean, it's like a lot of the libertarian science fiction will talk about going off planet. It's like, no, you just go in planet, like. Just follow the course of every single government and ancient civilization that survived. Where the fuck did they go? They went underground, or if you want to talk about USOs, the underwater objects that come out from the ocean. Those are the safe places. Yeah, I mean that's where to go for every single one of these things. I think. We're kind of waiting on technology, unfortunately, which is kind of we're waiting on the technology, but we're also just kind of doing the low-tech analog stuff at the same time. Because we can't, I mean, we're not, you and I and folks like us aren't just going to sit around and wait. We can't do that.
Yeah.
Not in our blood.
Yeah. I'm loving the low-tech analog with the high-tech crossover. It was funny. I'm with some of the best programmers and thinkers and stuff, and everyone really wants to be a goat farmer. It's just like, we have to make this shit so that we can all go back to being goat farmers.
Yep. But the difference is, and it's where I look back to Jamin McConaughey's and I's conversations from like a decade ago, and he was already doing a lot of this off-grid permaculture stuff, to where you have like automated you have automated systems that detect how much rain you've gotten, and it determines how much water to water your plants with. Based off of that and other inputs, the options are, I whether for defense or whether for gardening, I think the potentialities for these things are huge. Time saving, liberating, all of those for sure.
Yeah, I'm actually working with some people on homesteading, so we'll hopefully be manufacturing cool things for homesteaders that tie into everything, like Internet of Things, LoRa, control mechanisms. We've got a couple prototypes running in various places, but we should do an ad on PAZNIA radio.
We should, and I recalled what I was trying to think of earlier, and it relates to this too. But Thane's recent interview with Matt Hill, and I heard one interview of his on AI recently, and it was like, holy shit, this dude's one of us. We have to have a conversation with him to figure out. And then he came on with Thane and had like a 3-hour conversation, and basically he basically was like, yeah, all the things you're talking about, that's exactly like we're building that into StartOS. Like we're working that into like kind of the automated AI drone surveillance sort of stuff. Like those are in the vision. So we might not have to build again. Waiting sucks, but if you're waiting, it's different if you're just waiting for like some like vacuous technology that may or may not exist. It's a different story if it's actually like a company that's delivered and continues to deliver, and it's just the way that StartOS is. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited for sure.
Oh yeah.
All right, so well, this next one kind of ties in too. 'Cause everything kind of seems to tie into each other. A great business idea is making 3D PF components, 3D printed components, etc. that may be restricted in some regions. How can a person market these without compromising OPSEC? Product payment via XMR and dead drop delivery is the easy part. So, and Thane probably had more to offer on this than I do. All I really have is, I mean, sounds like a solid idea. The PAZNIA Department of Transportation, we talked about the vision for the app, which hopefully, like the PAZNIA library, in due time it'll come into fruition. But until then, like it's just a theory. It's just kind of a vision right now. But the PAZNIA Department of Transportation and Logistics app, wherein you have a white market layer available to everybody. It's like the PAZNIA version of Uber or Uber Eats or whatever. Where there's no vetting and reputation needed. People are just, deliveries are facilitated for things like tomatoes or, I don't know, soap or whatever the hell it is. Doesn't matter. Stuff where there's no risk. Then you have the gray market, which is maybe like, I don't know, maybe you're shipping gallons of DMSO or something, like 52-gallon drums of DMSO or ivermectin or something like that. Where it's not necessarily illegal, but you don't want to just drop that off to some normie driver. Then you have the black market layer, which is you get enough vetting and reputation within the system, and you get opened up to possibilities like this, where you can actually make some real coin, delivering some black market products in this sense, it sounds like it might be like 3D printed drone technologies that might be used against data centers, which is a big fear. It's that did not originate from me. That's a big fear at this point. A big fear. I think it's even being like there's actually might even be laws written into it where they're considering data centers like national security or something. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, there's been recent news about there's the backlash might turn violent against data centers. So I don't know if that they're setting us up for a false flag or what. But people are raging on the data centers right now.
Yeah, and right. I mean, rightfully so. Yeah, rightfully so.
So
yeah,
back to what I was saying. We got to control the AI and the compute, and that's why there's a lot of really cool projects going on where we move that into our own houses and distribute all the workloads and everything.
Yeah, so I guess that's the answer to the how can a person market these without compromising OPSEC? Well, you do it through our networks.
Yep.
Basically, yeah, not through the public ones. It's a one sentence answer to the question. Yeah, that's yeah, I like it.
Get in touch if you need a VPS, a sovereign VPS. I'll hook you up.
Yeah. So yeah,
we should start running ads for them too.
Hey, yeah. So any services like that, I reached out to Liberté. It's Liberty, both before the Y, it's AI, and it uses your GPU to do the compute. I guess it seems like it, but it was one mentioned on one of the Liberty directories. I really love it. It's what generates the PAZNIA folklore story times. I give it a prompt. It usually involves some editing afterwards, but I like the wildness of AI.
It's great.
I couldn't think of that shit. A lot of that shit. No, like unfortunately, my mind is not that nuts. Or fortunately or unfortunately, I'm not that nuts. But but no, like I sent a message on Twitter, or I guess a post on Twitter, like, hey, you want to come on for an interview? So yeah, if you got any product services like that, we'd love to get them on. And beyond that, if it's just a good service that we use, we'll just run ads at no cost, because we want to promote the products and services that are best, and that we trust. So I guess, Shadrach, that's for you and some of the folks you come across. If we can, cool. Yeah, happy to, whether it's Liberté or if you're in contact with the two Fiat folks, or if you're anyone like that, Yeah, run ads for free.
Awesome. I got some ideas. Beautiful. Love this stuff.
Yep. Okay, so yeah, I guess that addresses that one. And this third one's fun. I've kind of already talked about it, but it's right where I did pirate radio for a decade ago for like a year. I loved it. Just couldn't go forward with it.
Well, I lived in a house in Austin, and we had a big buried pit in the back because they had a huge transmitter, and it was a heavy metal, like punk pirate radio station that was hidden, called Radio Chaos in Austin.
Yes, the other pirate radio station I'm familiar with in Austin, I don't think it's around anymore, but Scott Horton from Anti-War Radio, he used to do a weekly live radio show on a pirate radio station in Austin. And that was the only cool hour you to get on that. Otherwise, it's just like leftist communist propaganda from the U.S. But no, like that's why like this fucking shit needs to exist. Like people don't listen to AM/FM that much anymore. But there are, I mean, I don't know, just shit needs to be everywhere. There's no reason for it not to be everywhere. But anyway, for this question, which it's already been kind of addressed, but it's one of the 4 that were asked. What are some like-minded pirate radio transmissions that you are aware of? That's the first question. I actually don't know of, other than the one I mentioned, I really don't know of any. But if there are other pirate radio stations out there, I want to know about them. So send me a message on SimpleX, PAZNIA.com/SimpleX. Or email at coordinator@PAZNIA.com. Because if they exist, there's probably a way to cross promote or something like that. Even if the visions aren't exactly aligned, there's no reason not to try to coordinate.
Yeah, we gotta connect where we can and not worry about the rest of it at this point.
Especially for the marketing and propaganda part.
Yeah,
that don't matter that much. Yeah, they aren't coming to your fucking house or listening to your feed. They can get pissed off if they want to. They can't come shoot up your house. But anyway, so what? So I guess what other? I guess the second question is shortwave, HF, FM, etc. Have you ever considered transmitting? Again, we already talked about this. Shortwave is going to be beyond just the low data audio feed, because all you can get nowadays is video feed. Like if you want to do live streaming, it's only video. Brighteon offered it for a while, but now to even stream on their platform, you got to be vetted by Mike Adams, and I don't want to be vetted by Mike Adams. I don't want to know Mike Adams. So was it Brighteon? I think Brighteon was Mike Adams. Hopefully that's the one. I'm not slandering somebody else. I think that's right. That's right. But yeah, after the PeerTube and the low data audio feed, it's going to be shortwave. It's going to be shortwave. Because there's no, like, that's the easiest way to reach the furthest distance. For my ignorant answer to shortwave. I've done some research, but I'm still an idiot. And I don't want to drop I mean, $400 isn't bad. I just got to make sure that it'll actually do something. And if someone in New York or Kansas or somewhere else can tune into the shortwave radio transmission, that's kind of the goal. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Don't know for sure. Don't know for sure if that's with a few options I have, but and there's also waiting to hear back from Jamin and out of the box solutions. But Shadrach, you're back. I'm not sure if you have a. Well, I don't know what you heard or what you didn't, but we kind of already talked about it a little bit. But
I just want to throw the balloon conversation back out there. We really want to do a balloon project where we launch a bunch from the East Coast and then we put transmitters out to the West, and we should be able to do some cool tests.
And of course, if I could be of any help in that test, or
they'll go over your. We'll make sure they go near you. We'll have enough to make sure they go near you.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's exciting. Yeah, that's exciting. That's another thing too. Avalon's talked about it like balloons. Beyond just my big interest in balloons is airships. Like I want to have on the other part of the property, they had floating airships in the 1800s. This gets into some breakthrough energy technology we're not going to get into here, but they had floating airships back then, and I just envision, I've seen it in video games, but like floating air houses.
Yeah. It's I call it skysteading. That's what we need to
exactly,
like
yeah.
build these amazing like floating cities.
Yeah, no, I agree that it's the hard part is airspace is like in terms of legal interstices, it's an interesting thing, and I'm afraid. And I say I'm not afraid. It's just a I'm kind of I kind of feel like before some of the things are possible, I might actually have to dig into some of the quote unquote like sovereign citizen remedies, like getting a local title over the land, and
Right.
acquiring my own airspace, because yeah, like any at this point in time, any pesticide farmer can basically fly over and spray over or whatever. They can do whatever the hell they want to. We don't have control over airspace at a certain point. So that's one of those things I'm not looking forward to. I did my 2 or 3 years in legal research, 2016, 2015, 2018. I don't want to do anymore. That's why I've been resistant to it. Legal research sucks ass. I don't want to read the words of bureaucrats. It makes me want to kill myself.
Hell yeah.
But anyway, the positive part of the discussion is that, yeah, these things will be possible. These things are possible. They will be possible. It's just, yeah, it's gotta try to knock these things down. Like there's a priority list, and I think at this point it's kind of the communications is we got to make sure we can communicate to build the rest of these things. So I think that's kind of the first big step. And we're talking about the transmitting and all of that. Even if shit goes down, you can all like that is, and see that's the other part of this is even if everything goes down, we can always transmit the PAZNIA radio network over shortwave. That's the fucking end goal. Worldwide or US wide with hops or whatever. Shortwave radio is where it's at. Bill Cooper was on fucking point in the 90s. That's where we need to be. And at that, and when it comes to shortwave and like when it comes to shortwave and like amateur radio, there's no R&D in that anymore, really. Like in Vandalia, where my legal address is, I'm not doxing myself or whatever. They have like their own ham radio, meetings every week or whatever, like transmitters, receivers, all of that. Like it's beyond, like it's kind of where mesh networking is probably going to be like 5-10 years from now, hopefully like 2 years from now, but you get what I'm saying.
Well, no, but I mean, I think you reminded me, I do think even if we don't like, I mean, reticulum, I mean, we should be joining like some of these different groups in our local cities. So there's the Ireland and UK Mesh Core is like really, really built out. I mean, I think, yes, there's limited things you can do with it, but I think they have meetups. So it's kind of like they're sovereign in a different way, and they could be good allies. So I think doing different meetups would be good.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong. So there's a guy, I guess he's like the Canadian version of RevHodl. He does podcasts and such, but and he's gonna come on Thane's show at some point. But he's busy in his beekeeping season in Canada right now. I think it was what he said. And I was like, I understand, no worries. Whenever you can come on, we'll be happy to have you. But yeah, he seems like the RevHodl version, and he was trying to convince me on the call. He was like, I'm with you on the Gores thing, but getting a ham radio license is a good idea. I'm not sure if I'll get a ham radio license or whatever, but kind of like it's if like, and these like with what we talk about, like centralized communications, and that's what I don't think it's going to be like a necessarily like a catastrophic situation. It's going to be like a centralized shutdown. So you've got to have your alternatives, and what are the best time tested alternatives? Well, it's those solutions. The infrastructure is already there in like every single city, and I guess the furtherance that maybe I don't know if there's any way that reticulum or something like that could communicate with, where you could send it over ham and that could be transmitted over reticulum or whatever. Like I think that's really where the merging of the analog and the digital. That's really where it's at.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Damn right we will. Well, maybe I won't. I will try. I will coordinate the people to figure it out. If I'm not smart enough to figure it out myself, but I will do my part. I'll make sure I do my part. So I guess those are the 4 questions from the second round strategy session, which we're on a pretty good track here. I guess there's one other oddball thing I could toss in here, which it's not really oddball, but it might be a good cap to this conversation. Going back to 1973, there was an article that Rayo wrote, the actual Rayo. It's called "What Is Big Brother Watching?" by Rayo, March 1973. So just think. I'm taking a moment here. Think about the time frame. And this conversation is exactly relevant to the question that was brought up earlier. Different technology that's publicly available, but exactly the same thing. Here we go. Quote, "There's no way to hide. They'll soon have satellites in orbit which can count the hairs on a fly's behind. So you might as well give up and become one of the sheep like me." End quote, etc. I have little inside information on Big Brother's latest Sky Spies, but I discovered that people who seem to delight in warning about them usually know less than I do. Here's what I've been able to learn. The devices which presently exist are costly and easily faked out. They are not in wide use. Item. There are a few things easier to detect with a heat sensor than a forest fire. It is much hotter than anything else in the woods. Yet last I heard, the Forest Service is still depending on human observers, some in watchtowers, some in aircraft, to spot smoke. They experiment with heat sensors and put out press releases now and then, but such devices are not common use. I'll break in. I don't know. I don't know where the technology on that is presently. But yeah, anyway, back to it. Item. Aerial photographs have been routinely used for map making since the 1940s, and such photos are reportedly used by local property tax assessors. Quite likely, large buildings and fields are being spotted. Small cabins in wooded areas are rarely spotted, even when no effort is made to hide them, according to property owners I know. I will break in there and say that this has probably gotten more intense. And I kind of know this from, we've got PAZNIA here. We have something close here that we call Status Camp. And you can call it pretty similar, but they basically have like cabins, like you put like your like a backyard cabin. You put your ride-in lawnmower in, and they put a bed in there, and it's kind of like a vacation sleeping cabin. Well, there's some they know that's like, it's crazy how they know that stuff now, but it's very as soon as you build a new house, as soon as you do something crazy. Yeah, they can't, and especially if you hook up to their utilities, they'll know, and they'll track it down. So the easy point here is just you don't use their services, and negate some of it, but it doesn't negate all of it. That is something I think might not be necessarily accurate now. The tax assessors will always look for the fucking blood. Anyway, next one, quote, item, squatters who have been discovered were first seen by persons, most often hunters, walking through the woods. The one exception I've heard of had an open campfire and was spotted from the air by the smoke. Yeah, that probably doesn't seem, they gotta call the bludgies for them to care. At least in that case. Nevertheless, surveillance devices will probably be improved and come down in price. Some may be widely used in 20 or 30 years, so it's well to start learning what they can and can't do. One kind, which has been used in Vietnam, essentially consists of a microphone and a small radio transmitter. It is distributed on the ground, picks up sounds and radios them to processors which listen for human voices, internal combustion engines, clang of metal on metal, or other unnatural sounds. Although the individual devices are cheap, covering a large area with them is costly, and they are easily detected. Another category of detectors, which may be carried by aircraft or satellites, make use of radiation below the frequency of visible light. Such frequencies do not respond to as fine detail as visual light does, which is one of the reasons eyes sense the frequencies as they do. But these frequencies can behave differently than visual light, and the difference can be made use of. Example is clouds are invisible at some radar frequencies. Metal shows up white regardless of its visual color unless coated with a radar-absorbing substance. A hot black stove shows bright to infrared. These frequencies can be thought of as additional colors. I guess we're getting close. For analogy, imagine a land where people see everything as shades of gray, as does black and white. Oh, I guess we'll scoot forward a little bit. Yeah, he's just talking about infrared here. In Vietnam, there wasn't much investigating. They simply bombed anything at all suspicious. The result, they tore up much of the land and killed many innocent bystanders at a cost of billions of dollars without defeating their enemy. How likely are the Bloods to destroy all the forests in North America, as they have parts of Vietnam, just to get some people who only want to be left alone? The superstate may not survive in its present form for another 30 years. Even if it does, the Bloods are apt to be too occupied with day-to-day problems of staying in power to devote much of their resources to people who are not a direct and immediate threat. But assuming the worst, what might Vonuans of the future do? And I think that might be the most important part of this article right there, is especially at this point in time. Like, do they really care about van nomads? Do they really care about people being left alone? With all the shit going on in the world at this point, I don't know. Anyway, what might Vonuans of the future do? One, move now and then. If a spot is investigated in 1984 because it looks different than it did in 1982, this is no concern of someone who moved on in 83. Create diversions is number 2. Number 3 is blend in. Blending into your environment. In the immediate future, I don't believe science fiction gadgets pose much of a threat. A human is a highly sophisticated system of sensors and information processors honed by hundreds of millions of years of evolution. An object or process which can't be seen, heard, or smelled by someone walking 100 yards away is not likely to be found. But artificial detection capabilities should be considered when developing new structures. My own guidelines, again, this is 1973, quote, keep structures small, low, and dispersed. Use irregular shapes which blend with the terrain. Build among trees and bushes. Do not use artificial heat. Build mostly of natural materials. Minimize tree cutting. Minimize use of metal. Use internal combustion engines little or not at all. No open fires. When digging, dispose of surplus dirt under bushes or in slide areas. Keep flexible and fairly mobile. Don't try to build a building or lifestyle to last 100 years. So I think, yeah, just kind of the relevant part. It's fun to look back 40 years. He was on this stuff before anyone ever thought about it. He was one of those hyper paranoid folks. Or actually, no, he wasn't. He was trying to bring the hyper paranoid folks off the fucking mountain before they jumped off. But no, there's some relevant, like, I think there's some things here that might still kind of be true, but yeah, kind of the drone and satellite surveillance, and especially the AI technology, could cause some problems. But again, the AI technology isn't it isn't perfect by any means whatsoever. It's very often flawed. Depends on the input and all of that. So I don't know, Shadrach. What is Big Brother watching by Rayo? VonuLife, March 1973. You got any thoughts?
That was really cool. That's interesting that he was that thoughtful. I think what AI is good at is exactly this kind of thing, unfortunately. Comparing different satellite photos, AI makes stuff like that a lot easier. So I think we're definitely going into the corporate surveillance new world order of it'll be fun.
Yeah, that's it'll be fun in a lot of ways. Just in terms of being here to experience it. You look back across history, there were, like, individually, or I guess individually, or like 2 or 3 components at a time. Like, this shit's kind of happened, but not the this sort of technological advancement in this fast of a time. And I'll leave just one note here. and I'm gonna mess up on some details here, but so we're talking about the data centers earlier. So so if you do, I haven't done this myself, but if you take like a 1 terabyte hard drive and you weigh it before adding information to it and you weigh it after adding information to it, obviously there's like a micro, like there's a micro difference to it. But if you consider like the amount of data that's being stored today and all of the data centers, like every single human activity monitored and stored. And we talked about the why there's kind of a revolt against these data, like the amount of water and cooling that these need, the amount of rare earth minerals, all of these resources that are needed to power the tools of mass surveillance. It's
Yeah.
it's pretty much that, yeah.
And then
so I guess
tax dollars are paying for them too.
So tax dollars are paying for them, and then if you consider the amount of data that's being stored, and just consider like, and this is where it gets into kind of like it's not even necessarily hypothetical, but it's just like when that amount of data, like in terms of like was it like by 2040, like if you try to calculate that amount of like additional mass on the Earth within a certain span of time, like if it was just an anomalous event and you just like toss that into the equation, it'd cause a pretty massive like disruption. I guess is kind of the gist of it. So like there's so many like existential implications that are coming from what we're going into. Yeah, and again, like it's kind of like it's kind of beyond imagination. But
Yeah,
it's also exciting because I mean, to have a mind of a self-liberator and someone who just tries to find solutions outside of it. Like there's also just as many solutions outside of it too.
Yeah, for sure. And it's existential on many levels. So I mean, there's all the solar activity and the poles moving, and it's we live in exciting times.
We sure indeed. We do sure indeed. But yeah, it is. We hit 2 hours already. I guess let me see if there's any ties we didn't close up, any loose ends. I don't think there were any in this episode that I recall. But I guess I'll leave it open to you, and I'll provide my closing thoughts and conclusion. But yeah, from all we discussed, our conversation with RevHodl, our mindfully titillating Richard Greaser songs that take us to the moon. Anything that we talked about tonight that you want to close out on?
No, it's enjoyable. Great show, and yeah, just connect with other self-liberators. There are many forms. Look for them.
Yeah, most certainly. And real quick here, I'm going to pull up the PAZNIA.com/VonuFest site because I should have, a few months ago, made a radio advertisement for this, but I have not. But the thing I will close out with first before getting to my actual conclusionary outline is that VonuFest 7 this year is happening September 21st to the 28th. Again, VonuFest 7, September 21st to 28th. I have no idea what it's going to look like this year, but I do know that, I guess I don't know, but pretty confident that might be like the christening event for the new embassy, the new house here on the homestead. So it's, come out. Obviously, if you're unvetted, you can't come out, but there's still plenty of time. Send me an email, coordinator@PAZNIA.com. Reach out on SimpleX. Like we kind of talked about, like it's just every single time I have one of these conversations, like, oh yeah, I know those folks. We're actually gonna we're having a coordinating event, like with RevHodl earlier with the Michigan Peace Liberty Coalition folks. Like it's not, as far as the folks that care about freedom, it's not that many people. Well, I mean, I was saying it's not that. It's not. It's the world's smaller than what you think it is. I don't know, is another way to think about it. And there are more of us than what we think. And get vetted, come out to VonuFest 7, join us in the Ethical Enclave, the Agora, and soak up liberation in our church of self-liberation. Yeah, VonuFest 7, September 21st to 28th. Reach out. Please do get out here if you can. But of course, Shadrach, if you're in Europe or something, there are bigger and better things to be done in some cases. But for most of you, you should fucking be here. You should be here.
I can't wait till I can just go hang out and relax. But there's too much to do. It's we're in the quickening.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. No, I appreciate I appreciate your efforts, man. You're doing what I wanted to do like a decade ago, is go out and meet a lot of these folks, and yeah, you're going out there and kind of acting as the intermediate, getting the physical connection to get them on Thane's show or whatever at this point. So, it's a win either way.
Oh yeah,
in all directions.
Yep.
But yeah,
Cool.
Shadrach, thanks again, brother. It's always
Thank you.
Always great. Looking forward to next month. Which will either be June 20th or 27th. We'll let you know as we know. But yeah, big thanks to Thane as always for another great episode of Cloak and Dagger here on this Celebration Saturday transmission. Thanks to Greg. Yep, go ahead. Yeah.
And Elena, thanks for
Yes,
coming on.
Yes. Most certainly worth noting. That's another fantastic connection. Much in the realm of Smuggler and Frank Braun. Back a decade ago sort of days. So yeah, no, that's yeah, I didn't know who was on our show until about halfway through. So that's kind of where things are at, even for me, who's in the mix of things. But yeah, and beyond beyond Cloak and Dagger, thanks to Greg Dowd for his first episode of Tinker Tribe Live.
Yeah, that was good.
Deep into solar, deep into solar, a couple $1,000 setup you can toss onto a utility dolly, and charge it up however you want to, and have your own mobile battery pack. That's huge. Yeah, and again, that's only his first episode. He's gonna get better as it goes on, and it's gonna I'm excited. And there might be another show dropping next month or two by a recent guest on Thane's show. I'll just leave it at that. Anyway, if you're interested in starting a show on the PAZNIA Radio Network as part of our Celebration Saturday transmission, you can message me on SimpleX or email me coordinator@PAZNIA.com. At present, we have the 1 p.m. Central to 2:30 p.m. Central time slot open right before Thane's show. And if you only want to do a show like once a month or whatever, we're happy to accommodate that too. Kind of like I know life happens, and it's you got to devote your time to the physical space and time sometimes, and that's why Vonu podcast has kind of dropped off into monthly news show at this point. But at some point they'll both come back. And likewise, I know your flexibles or your schedule might not be flexible, so we're happy to accommodate it however we can. But PAZNIA.com/radio is the main link for all things PAZNIA Radio Network. Visit xmrchat.com/PAZNIA Radio to support and leave a message for the show. There's also the XMR chat, the Digital Self-Liberation Bundle, and the Sounds of Self-Liberation audiobook bundle specials that are available there on XMR chat. Just check out the donation tiers there, and you'll see what those are. I think it's $20 US for the Self-Liberation bundle and $30 US for the audiobook bundle, and they're cheaper than, and they provide more than what's available on the website. So send us some Monero, and we all win.
Oh yeah.
I suppose libertyattack.com is the place to go for books, privacy tools. We still offer Ghost Pass and Ghost Phones. Pain Liberator's selling like a hotcake. Thankfully, started advertising on the Republic Broadcasting Network, which is more of a traditional. It's been around since mid 2005, something like that. Located Austin, Texas, traditional terrestrial radio, and been advertising on there, and that's been a nice little another nice little component, and hopefully more in that area as well. VonuPodcast.com is obviously the place to go for all self-liberational media. It's where I post all any podcast archives, Thane's show, self-liberation or self-liberation Saturdays. All of that goes. Not all of it, but most of it goes out on there. Rumble really is like kind of the main place right now because it doesn't require any extra work from me. So yeah, I guess Rumble and the Vonu podcast site, which I hate promoting Rumble, like that fucking boomer right-wing platform, but it's truly the best and most reliable out there at this point. Yeah, real listeners, and most of you are there. I appreciate the hell out of you. Just please make sure to follow up on our platforms. Yeah, greatly appreciate you tuning in, Shadrach, of course. Love to have you here. Yeah, as always, we got a little bit of PRND programming to close us out. Only about another 10 minutes or so, but I know for sure now that this Bill Cooper outro is going to be a staple to every single Self-Liberation Saturday live stream, and I'm very, very happy to have it as part of that. But anyway, PAZNIA.com/radio. Please enjoy. Have a great rest of your evening, and we will be with you next time.
Live free with dignity.